Hello and welcome to Box Free with Stephanie. Today I want to show you how to make some basic foods with simple ingredients from scratch, and I hope you discover cooking box free is fast and delicious. So let's cook together. Today we're going to make carrot cake pancakes because I love carrot cake, and I just discovered carrot cake pancakes and they are just really good. So the first thing I'm going to do is make my cream cheese frosting or my cream cheese topping. So in here I have 2 ounces of cream cheese that's been sitting out for about half an hour, and you can see it's just already like really soft. So that's perfect. So I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of butter, which this is about like that, we'll say. It's not perfect, but that's okay. And then I'm going to add half a teaspoon of vanilla. I'm going to mix this up. This really is like pretty much like cream cheese frosting, except that you don't make as much and you make it a little bit runny. So you certainly wouldn't want to put this on your cake because it just wouldn't have the structure, but on pancakes it's just delicious. So we are going to make this. Okay, so that's just blended in kind of like that. Now we've got this all messy. Hang on a second. Can't really grab the top of my bowl. Okay, so now I'm going to add half a cup of powdered sugar, and then I'm basically going to add some milk to water it down. So seems like a lot of sugar, but frosting is a lot of sugar, and that's how it goes. And I'm not going to use any more, I'm just sure of it. So I'm just going to throw that over there. So now I'm going to try to not make a big mess and see if I can blend this in. I have used like a little whisk for this also, but if your cream cheese is soft enough, then your fork really does work pretty good. So let me just make sure. Okay, so I'm going to add so once I get my powdered sugar kind of blended in, then I'm just going to start adding some milk. And I say 3 tablespoons. This is just kind of a recipe I made up. So, you know, if you think it's too sweet or not sweet enough or not runny enough, just manipulate it, because, you know, that's what I do anyway. But I basically went to a restaurant with my daughter, and they had all kinds of amazing pancake options, and one of them was carrot cake pancakes, so that's my favorite. So I got them. I thought they were just delicious. Okay, now I want to go to my whisk. So anyway, I came home and I just kind of whipped up this recipe, and I don't know, I think it tastes pretty much like carrot cake. Even the pancakes are going to have the spices, and I put carrot in it, and anyway, I think it tastes pretty good. Okay, so what I'm trying to do is just get all these lumps out, and I've only done 2 tablespoons of milk so far. My recipe says 3, and this is one that I've tested out a few times, but it just takes a minute to get it all. Now it's looking nice and smooth. So today, for some reason, it doesn't seem like I want to add more milk, because I mean, this is really runny right now, but it's also really chunky. So I'm just going to whip it a little bit more, and I've got my pan on here trying to heat up, because pancake batter does not take very long to make. It's one thing I never really understand why people buy in a box, because it truly is so fast to make homemade pancakes. And you can actually do it where you make like all your dry ingredients together, and then you kind of know your proportions, and then in the morning you just come in and add your oil and your egg and milk, and that's it, versus just water. So let me just taste this. That is like the best. Oh my gosh. Okay, yum. Okay, so that's probably why I love making this recipe. So we're just going to stick that right there. These are all my little toppings. Okay, so now I'm going to start my batter. And first I'm going to grate my carrot. So I do finely grated carrot, which really kind of ends up being almost like mush or whatever, like, I don't know. I mean, like, it's just like, see, it's not even coming out yet. It's just so ultra fine. So I have not tried this recipe with regular sized grated carrots, but because they're pancakes and they only cook for, you know, 3 to 4 minutes on the griddle, I don't really think you would want the big grated carrot, because I don't think it would cook very much. Like, just feel like it would not get cooked in those 3 minutes, where this it really does. And I really feel like you want to have carrots in your carrot cake pancake. So I just have done it this way. But again, this is something I just made up. So I mean, if you have a better solution, and I mean, you wouldn't even have to really put carrot in it, of course, but you could just do the spices and the toppings and the cream cheese frosting. But I like to have an official carrot in there. And it makes it a little bit orangey, you know, changes the color of your pancake batter. And these microplane graters are incredibly sharp, so I'm always like trying to keep my fingers away from it. Okay, so I think that's going to end up being, oh, my tablespoon's full of milk. That's okay. So what I'm basically going to do is measure really quick here, very scientifically. So when you like pat it all down, it gets, you know, pretty compacted. So this is maybe a tad more than 2 tablespoons, but I'm just going to call that good. And that's what we're going to add to our pancakes. So now, and this isn't like a huge recipe. This is kind of enough to serve like 2 or 3 people. So make sure my pan's not too hot. All right, so I'm only doing 1 cup of flour for my batter, which, ooh, this bowl looks suddenly very small. So I'm only doing 1 cup because that makes about enough for 2 to 3 people, and that's what I'm going to cook for right now. Oh, 1 tablespoon of sugar, which I'm not going to measure that. That's about a tablespoon, we'll say. It doesn't really matter again. Baking powder I will measure. 3 teaspoons. My thing is almost broken here, but my tablespoon's all wet, so I can't use, oh, it's right there. Can't use that. All right, 3 tablespoons of baking powder. A little bit of salt. What does it say? Teaspoon. Okay, so we'll go like that. You kind of want a nice salt so that it, like, the flavors pop, you know? All right, then we're going to do 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. Yum, it's already smelling really good. Then allspice. Can't go wrong with that. We're going to do 1/2 teaspoon. Okay, like that. And then ginger. So carrot cake can have different flavors, but I always love ginger and allspice in mine. Some people do cloves and nutmeg, and, you know, again, this is your cooking, so you decide what spices you love, and then you just add them in there. Smells so good. Okay, I think I'm going to do this. So my dry ingredients: 1 cup of flour, 1 tablespoon of sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt, 3 teaspoons of baking powder, my spices. Okay, so then I'm going to add 1 cup of milk and 1 egg and a little bit of oil. So where's my egg? Okay, so 1 egg, and then we'll do 1 cup of milk. Oh, and I gotta add my carrots, of course. That'll be so fun. I hadn't forgotten about them, but I'm going through my recipe. Okay, and I think I'm gonna stick this back in the fridge because now I'm all done. Okay, then what else do I need? Oil. 2 tablespoons. So this is how I measure for pancakes. There's 1. There's 2. I don't know. I feel like it really doesn't matter for pancakes, so I really rarely measure my oil, which also makes it really fast in the morning. So, whoopsie, I'm forgetting my carrots. Oh my gosh. All right, we'll add in my carrots here, which was, you know, maybe a little bit heavy on the carrots, but again, it's not going to matter, and I will definitely take the extra carrots. Okay, we're going to turn my pan up a little bit more, and then you just whisk these. So see how the spices make the batter much browner than like buttermilk pancakes, and then the oranges, I mean, not orange, the orange from the carrot will make it be a little bit more textured. So I think it's just a really fun batter to make. I've been trying to make gingerbread waffles for some time. I'm just not quite satisfied with the texture and the taste the way I want to be, so I haven't perfected that in my opinion. But this recipe I'm pretty happy with. Okay, so this thing is like crazy hot here. These hot plates are a little bit wacky, which I always talk about. Okay, so now I will take my butter and just give me just a little bit like that. This is a non-stick, but certainly don't want my beautiful pancake to stick. And because I'm using a hot plate, it's a little bit crazy. I actually have a beautiful cast iron griddle that I got from my Aunt Louise like ages ago. I'm sure the thing is who knows how old, but I love it. And so I cook my pancakes on that. And I actually put my cast iron right on my glass cooktop, and everybody says you can't do cast iron, but I do, and I have a pan I use on there. So I don't know, maybe that's dangerous, but I'm doing it. So my point is I never have like sides to deal with, so this is going to be like a little bit harder today, but we're going to do it. Okay, so that's nice and hot. This is all mixed and looks beautiful. So here we go. I'm just going to dump some in. And that's how I do it really at home too, on my griddle. Okay, so now we'll see how long this takes. I'm going to get out a plate. So over here I have walnuts, coconut, and raisins. So when I make carrot cake pancakes, I like to offer those three things. So when I get done, I'm going to put my delicious cream cheese frosting, and then I'm going to top it with all of these because I personally like all of these things in my carrot cake and on my pancakes. If you don't like raisins, just skip it, or coconut. When I went to the restaurant and had it the very first time, they had these gorgeous, huge half walnuts like all over my pancakes. And with this sauce, it looked really gorgeous. So I add the coconut just because I love it. And then the raisins are a little bit of a different texture, I'd say, just because they're like so chewy, you know. But I'm also going to change spoons. So you can kind of serve this different ways. If you want to just have this like a little, you know, buffet on the table and let people just dish up their own things. Or you can just kind of all, you know, make your little stack of 3 on the plate and then you dress it all up. But I think when I was at the restaurant, they had the pancakes and then the walnuts and all the cream cheese sauce on top. So everything was covered in the frosting, let's call it. And it was really good. So probably just because it had so much frosting on it, or delicious frosting really. So cream cheese sauce is what I think it's called. Cream cheese sauce is what I'm calling it. Okay, my pancake's taking a while. So with pancakes, you know, the trick is to basically wait for these bubbles to appear in it. And if your pan is not warm enough, then it just takes forever, and it kind of, your pancake will like spread. When the pan isn't hot enough, it'll just kind of keep spreading. When it's nice and hot, it'll spread for a ways, and then it will start to cook. And so that kind of like gives you your edge. And sometimes you can make pancake batter that's like super thick, and then you like daub it in your pan, and then you like spread it out. I've seen, you know, sometimes you do it like that. My batter is usually a little bit thinner. I don't know, I guess it's just the way I do it. But you know your pancake's cooking when you get these bubbles like that to show, and then you kind of wait for that. That means that it's all kind of cooking inside. So once it's all covered with these bubbles and most of them have popped, then I usually try to flip it. And if your pan is too hot, then of course it burns before you get all these bubbles and your middle gets cooked. So it's just kind of a matter of learning what your pan does for temperatures. Like my cast iron griddle now, I have discovered exactly what temperature to put it at on my stove, and then it needs to preheat because that cast iron is very heavy. So I can't just like turn it on and cook in 1 minute. I have to almost let it heat up for like 5 minutes. And then after I've been cooking pancakes for say 10 minutes, I almost have to turn it down a little bit because then my cast iron just keeps getting hotter and hotter. So I really rarely make pancakes in this stove. But the other thing about pancakes that I love is when we're camping, we call it gorp pancakes. And it's kind of the same thing, nuts, raisins, sometimes we have coconut, chocolate chips, all the things that you would put in gorp. or trail mix, and then when you're at the campsite, you make your pancake like this and you immediately drop all your stuff in there, like raisins and chocolate chips or whatever you want. They're all very individualized, and then that all cooks inside of it. Then you flip it over, and then it's delicious. Oh, look at that, just a little bit browner than I might want, but not bad. For my hot plate, I'm pretty happy with that. So gorp pancakes is like really a fun thing to make. And then of course you make chocolate chip pancakes at home. And I've actually started putting just coconut inside my pancake, kind of like a gorp, but just coconut. And then just butter and maybe some syrup. And that's been really good too. So we're gonna wait. The hardest thing about pancakes is waiting. Because you can smell them and you know it's gonna be so yummy. And then this stuff is gonna be delicious. Now I wonder if I wanna use this. I guess I will. It's still got more balls, tiny, tiny balls of cream cheese than I would prefer. I'd like it to be just super smooth, so I guess I should just sit here and stir it while I'm waiting. I mean, it's super picky to be like, I want it perfectly smooth, but I do, I guess. I don't know. But maybe nobody else would notice. I'm not sure. Once you get all this stuff on top of it, they really probably would not. And I don't have a fork for myself either. Okay. So that didn't do much because this isn't like a good whisking machine. But that's what consistency I want today. So I don't know, I have 3 tablespoons of milk in my recipe, but I only use 2. So I'm not sure what's going on with that. Actually, I'm gonna, what was that fork? Oh, this was my cream cheese fork. Look at me, I'm gonna reuse my silverware because it's just me right now anyway. And I'm gonna butter my stuff, even though I'm gonna put all this stuff on it. Okay, so in here I have to kind of steal a look. Okay, so I think we're going to call them done. So I'm just going to try to move this thing back. Ooh, that's hot. Okay, get that out of the way. All right, so I'm going to take my pancake out. Okay. So yummy. So I'm going to sprinkle some walnuts around there. Actually, I'm going to do these first. The raisins, and then I'm going to sprinkle, oh my gosh, a lot of coconut, and then the best part. Okay, so then you drizzle. You can be fun, you can just make circles, you can just blob it on there. Woo, looks like a lot. So like that's a lot of pancake. But I'm gonna, oops, I forgot to put butter on it. Dang it. That's okay. Obviously my pancake is like overloaded already. So that's all right. Okay, so look at this. Yum. Mmm. Very much like carrot cake, which is like awesome to have for breakfast, I must admit. Yum. Oh, I can't wait to eat the rest. Okay, that's it. Thank you very much for watching Box Free with Stephanie. I hope you like the show. I really hope you make carrot cake pancakes because they are really good. Thanks for watching. I appreciate your time. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.